Well, this is, what's up? Yeah, well, Dee Dee, did you want to, I think, Dee Dee, am I rolling? Am I going to roll with this, or did you want to, okay, I'm going to make a, on behalf of Min Fire Initiative, it's, again, real honor to be able to do this. We want to, when I say we, my team, and I'll give you a formal introduction in a second, we want to give you guys as much resources and support as firefighters as that we can. I know how much of a, like just the demands and stress that are on you as a firefighter, whether you're paid on call, volunteer, or career. Anyways, I'm already going off script. So why don't we, I'm going to, for those of you that have been in my classes before, you know how I operate, but I do have a PowerPoint that I'm going to give you some information, and then we're going to come back in to the studio here, and we're going to do a really cool cooking demonstration that'll support tonight's topic. And while we're doing this, I want you to ask questions. I want you to, put your courage in your fingertips, and you got ideas, questions, comments, thoughts, whether it's about nutrition, meal planning, recipes, the things that we talked about, whatever it might be. I'm yours for this next 55 minutes. All right, so we are going to get started. And we got, like I said, we got a little PowerPoint piece that we're going to do, and I'll do formal introductions for you new folks. Ready to party? Oh, before we continue, I want to acknowledge doesn't sound good. I want to say thank you so much to my life partner, Miss Jana, who's my right-hand gal. She's in the co-pilot seat smiling at me. Do you want to say hi? She's all mic'd up, ready to go.
Hello, everyone.
She doesn't like to be on stage, so she gets, but at the end of the day, you know who calls the shots, just saying. Anyways, okay. That's the truth, They say happy wife, happy life. Okay, moving forward, I'll dig myself out of this hole. But thank you for being here. Appreciate it. And again, thank you all. Really, really, really appreciate you giving me your time. All right, we're going to continue on. Do a little brief PowerPoint here, as I was saying. And so here you go, folks. For those of you first-timers, my name is Marshall O'Brien. It's an honor and pleasure to be presenting to you tonight. And my whole mission is to help all of you watching. And if you've got kids, I want to know, who's got kids? Ages, like young kids right now. Put in the chat box. Courage in your fingertips, let us know. You got kids. If you got kids, if you got grandkids, let us know. I want to help you lead a happier, healthier, better quality life using smart nutrition. We want to help you be safer on the job, just be able to get through your day a little bit easier. So hopefully this information helps you. We've been supporting firefighters for, it's, I think, going on 6 years now. We started with City of Minneapolis, doing a big program for them about 6 years ago. And then we just, firefighters are one of the pillars of the community. My uncle's a firefighter forever out in LA County, since retired. I've got friends in fire service all over the place, Duluth, Metro, outstate. And we want to help the community. So anything that we can do to make your life a little bit easier, and again, help you be safer and just make your day a little bit better, we want to give you those resources so you can do that and not only help yourself, but help your community. And we really appreciate your service. And thank you for answering the question on the kids. Man, we got a lot of kids, a lot of ages. That's awesome. So we work, we do these smart nutrition programs for police, fire, public works. It could be construction workers. It could be manufacturing. It could be salespeople. It's all over the board. But at the end of the day, it's how do you use food to work for you and not against you? Because nourishing is different than eating. And if you've heard me talk or you've seen me on Fox or wherever, you know what I'm talking about, because I talk about it all the time. I have a team, and I'm very, very fortunate, besides Jana, that helps produce our webinars. We have chefs, dietitians, researchers, writers, videographers, publisher, editor to help with, we've got recipes, if you've seen our videos. Any St. Louis Park firefighters on today's webinar? I'm curious. We provide videos for St. Louis Park. I live in the park. I should say we live in the park. We work in the park, St. Louis Park. And actually you're a former, very, very cool. David, thanks for being here. Every Christmas, it's been going on, I don't know how many now, for a handful of years, we actually cook on Christmas Day for our firefighters. We've bounced back and forth between Minneapolis and St. Louis Park, but it's just another way to give back. But anyways, my team and I, we just want to be a resource for you. We're not your mother. We're not here to tell you how to live your life, but just give you these tips and resources and tools to make things a little bit easier for you. So having said that, I want to give you a real quick little kind of health paradigm context history, little health history, because this makes the things that we've been talking about, and if you've been following the series, it really makes it salient, makes it really relevant, rather than being abstract. And then again, as we go, if you got questions about things that I've talked about or maybe that I haven't talked about that you want to know about, please don't be afraid to ask. All right, so let's continue on, my friends. 70% of all deaths in the U.S. are from chronic diseases, okay? I'm just going to point the elephant out in the room. We got heart disease, stroke, cancer, diabetes, arthritis, respiratory disease, inflammatory bowel disease, Alzheimer's disease. These are all, they're obviously a huge problem. And 50% of our population has one of these diseases. 25% has two or more of these diseases. And as we continue, as we age with our current lifestyles, and I'm not, I'm painting some broad strokes here, but based on the statistics, we're going to get one or more of these chronic diseases. Now, it's pretty darn severe because once your body's damaged, it's often irreversible and you live with the effects for the rest of your life. So the good news is, and the bad news, is that 70% of these diseases are self-induced, okay? 70% of these diseases are self-induced, meaning it's our lifestyle choices, what we eat, what we drink, our sleep. And I know that is, it's like the metaphorical monkey on a firefighter's back because sleep is a premium and it doesn't happen a lot. I get that. But with poor sleep and with a lot of stress. So with the food, the drink, the hydrating or lack of, the sleep and the stress, that is creating a lot of these things. So if you want to have a better quality of life and a longer life, you've got to figure out how to do something because this is a scary statistic. Look at the screen here for a second. On average, firefighters have a 12-year shorter life expectancy than non-firefighters. When I learned that 6 years ago, and I thought of my uncle and I thought of my best friend, Dan Smith. Shout out to Duluth Fire, Dan Smith, if anyone's from Duluth Fire on this call tonight. This sucks, okay? Pardon my language. That's probably the worst I'll say. I'll stay professional. But how do we change that? What can we do on that? So as I was saying, if you want to have a better quality of life now and have a longer life, we got to do something about this today. The series that we've been providing you is based off of our Smart Nutrition Foundation, nutrition, sleep, hydration, physical activity. We had a 5th session because it was all about surviving the holidays, but there's 4 components that we always talk about. And I sprinkle them in, but we highlight. This class, we're highlighting physical activity. And I'm going to get back into the kitchen here in just a second, but I want to point something I find really interesting when it comes to the physical activity piece. We know that you've got to be physically fit. And when you think of the demands of your job, your body ages as time goes on, but the demands of your job stay the same. So anything that you can do that you were not doing that's positive, that you weren't doing yesterday, that's positive, is progress. So you've got to figure out a way to keep, especially if if you've been doing firefighting for a long time, you're probably, I'm just curious, who's stiff and sore? Anybody wake up stiff and sore in the morning? Chat box, let us know. Scale of 1 to 4. 4, a ton, 1, not at all. If you're stiff or sore, put it a 4, 1, not at all. Put it in the chat box, folks, I want to know. We got a 3, 4s. Appreciate your honesty, guys. 3s, 2s. Shane, way to go. Whatever you're doing, Shane, spread the word. Brian, way to go. Whatever you're doing, that's good. 2s, we got 2s. David, the point is, how can you just keep going and make this easy? So this class, I'm going to give a couple nuggets about physical activity. Some of it's going to be validation for you. Some of it might be an aha. And I'm also going to make a recommendation on a resource that's reimbursable by MBFTE. If your department has any leftover funds for that, that's a reimbursable program that I'm honored to be able to share that. I'll share that with you later. Basically, it's FireFit, but I'll put that up on the screen later. So I want to point this out. 4 after a brutal workout. 4, yeah, get it. 2 otherwise. Terry, appreciate that. I want to give a quick insight here as it relates to movement. And so I find this fascinating. Now, this point is not the big insight, but it's true. Man, exercise is not optional. It's essential. This screenshot that I have was taken from Science Magazine, and what they talked about was how unlike humans and apes are very close together, 97% DNA match, but gorillas, chimpanzees, and monkeys, they're very different from humans in the sense that they can be sedentary, sleeping 8 to 10 hours at night, 8 to 10 hours of resting during the day. Their food source were historically close to them. You know, they could go get some food and then hang out and sleep and do nothing. And they never developed chronic diseases, even when they're in captivity. And they could have the physique of an Olympian athlete. Whereas contrary, humans over the course of eons, or not eons, but, you know, hundreds and hundreds of years, humans always had to be on the move. So they were always looking for their food. They always had to search, so there were no nomadic people, nomadic tribes. They're always looking for food, hunting, foraging, and all that kind of stuff. If you want to, actually, we'll leave it on here for 2 more seconds. So what happens is in today's world now, we don't have to go hunt and gather for food. It's right there. We walk down the block, convenience store, grocery store, whatever, and we have a lot more sedentary lifestyle as a result. And unlike those apes and chimpanzees and monkeys, in captivity or not, our bodies are generating chronic diseases because we're not moving our bodies. Now, I want to tell you one more story, and before I tell you that, does that all make sense? Give me a yes in there. Oh, you can still see me. Never mind, it's on screen. Okay, thank you. Sorry. What was I just going to say? Oh my gosh, I just had a Dee Dee. You just gave me I had a space. We are going to show you. Oh, I know what I was going to say. I'm going to start this recipe in a minute. But so I'm going to make this recipe. I'll finish the second story. I want to know, does that make sense what I just said? Would you let me know? And if it doesn't, I will be happy to clarify. But I think I was clear on that. Let me know if that makes sense. Makes sense. Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Okay, David, you're representing the whole group tonight. I'm going to continue on. I'm going to make this dish for you in just a second. Why don't you jump back out of the screen? Appreciate it. Okay, folks. So here's the deal. I've got to get a hot pad, otherwise I'm going to burn my hand. That's the deal. The second story that I want to tell you is about sharks, tuna, and mackerel. And you might say, well, what does that have to do with human beings? Well, we talk about evolution. For eons, sharks, tuna, mackerel, and for eons, fish, when they move, they, when they're in the water, obviously, because they're fish, they have muscles to help push water through and filter through the gills so that they can extract the oxygen. Well, sharks, tuna, and mackerel, they don't have those muscles. But a long time ago, they did. And because they were constantly moving around, these sharks, tuna, and mackerel, always moving, those muscles never got utilized. And what happened is those muscles ended up dwindling away and going away through evolution. And now, sharks, tuna, and mackerel, if they don't move, because they don't have those muscles to push the water through the gills to extract the oxygen, unlike most other fish, those things will die. So if you think about that from an evolutionary standpoint, that's kind of crazy and yet fascinating. So that is, to me, I think, a big aha, and I hope that if anything that I give you tonight, because I'm guessing a lot of you are pretty active and you take care of your bodies, I hope you kind of put that in perspective about, from an evolutionary standpoint, why it's so important. And then I also hope that you can take the recipe that I'm doing and apply it to help you with your physical activity and helping you have, muscle recovery and repair and that sort of thing. And we'll get into that. Speaking of which, we are going to get into that right this second after I itch my back. Okay, I just did that. All right, I put in we emailed Dee Dee a recipe, and we can put it in the chat box as well. But we're going to make a one-pan egg dish, and it's protein-packed eggs, as I wrote in the PowerPoint for you. But I like to make my recipes really simple, and all recipes that we provide, if it's reducing stress, if it's reducing inflammation, reducing headaches, the recipes always serve a purpose. So I'm giving you great tasting, nourishing recipe that can help with muscle repair and recovery, and that sort of thing. And I'll explain why in just a second. But I want to make sure that you feel comfortable being able to do it. It's easy to do. I got a question for you, ladies and gentlemen. Scale of 1 to 4. You know, if you've been in my classes, I'm going to ask the knife question. Scale of 1 to 4. Are you a ninja knife master? 4. Or are you, you don't know how to hold a knife on a 1? Terry, you're motivated to answer. I appreciate that with the 2. That's good. It means we get to work on it. Love it. We got 4. We got a 4. We got a 3. We got 3s. I like that. When it comes to knife skills and cooking skills, you know, the more you have the experience and the confidence, the more you can be able to do it and make it a part of your life. And that's super, super critical. And I want to make sure that you have that. For this recipe, I'm doing, Brian, I like that. That's good. I still have most of my fingers too, but anyways. I'm going to make half of this recipe because I already started half of it so that I can kind of make it flow from a time standpoint. So we're going to show you the ingredients for the recipe, and then we're going to put it together, and we're going to move forward. But this is a really easy recipe. Again, I want to get all the barriers out of the way. Did you already show them the ingredients?
Not yet.
Okay, well, we're going to show you the ingredients for this dish. And again, if you got the recipe now, you want to follow it, you know, certainly go for it. But as you can see in the as you can see in the screen there, we've got zucchini, we have black beans, tomatoes. I'm going to talk about the spices, but we got spices in there. We've got basil, thyme, garlic powder, a little bit of salt, eggs, obviously, and some olive oil. Really simple recipe. It tastes easy. The way we're going to do this, and I want to make stuff. You know, I don't know, like, if you have a 9-to-5 job. I don't know like what kind of schedule you have, but I want to get all the barriers out of the way to make this really simple so you can get great tasting, nourishing foods into your life and make it practical and relevant. Because if it's not, then I'm not doing my job, and that bums me out. Having said that, we're going to take some zucchini. Now I asked you the question on knife skills because it's really important that you feel comfortable with a knife, and I appreciate those of you that were able to, share and ask. So we say in the recipe, chop up some zucchini. If you want to slice, that's fine. Now you'll notice that I'm using I'm gonna make these kind of sticks, if you will, and I'm still keeping them intact. But I'm gonna let the knife, dude, look at that, fancy. We're upgrading our technology. We're getting more sophisticated. I'm using the knife, like my knuckles, to guide my knife and do the work, and that's what I want you to practice. For those of you that said a 2 or a 1 with your knife skills, I want you, anybody remember the homework I gave you last time? Anybody remember? I want you to take 1 minute a day, 7 days in a row. So that's 7 minutes. That's less than 10, more than 5, okay? Nice number, right? You're going to take 7 minutes a week, 1 minute a day, and you're going to practice this rocking motion. And as you do this, you're going to let you get your knuckles tucked in just like I have. You're going to let the knife do the work. Let the knife do the work. You see how I'm just letting the knife do the work, and that's really important. If you do it this way, folks, if you do it this way, you will not cut yourself. If you do it this way and put your hands out and your fingers, you're going to cut yourself, and it's not going to feel good. So it's going to, you'll be amazed at how many pain receptor cells you have in your fingertips. So I want you to practice that rocking motion. Who's tried this? Anybody be in a previous class that tried it? Let me know. Put your courage in your fingertips if you have any left, and type out, yeah, I did it, it works great, or I'm working on it. Okay? Again, we're doing half the recipe. I'm going to take, I want to keep my knife sharper longer, so we're going to scrape the back of the knife onto the put the food on there. Okay, and if I did the full recipe, I would obviously have twice as much, and so on and so forth. Now, the reason why I'm having some carbohydrates in this dish, because I mentioned this is a great recipe for like post-workout. If you've got, for those of you that are like really in tune with your body and like deep dive into this, I'm not going to get super deep diving into all of the mechanics with the role food plays, but I'll give you kind of a baseline. Basically, after a strenuous workout, you have they're called glycogen stores. They're a form of carbohydrate that help operate your muscles. Those have been depleted after a strenuous workout. You want to replenish those glycogen stores in order to start the muscle recovery process. Well, given that it's carbohydrate, you need a combination of some good carbohydrates, and then you need the protein. And you want to make sure that you get that into your system. You've got like a 15 to 45 minute window right after that strenuous workout. I mean, it could be strenuous. It could be subjective. It could be like what I believe it was David mentioned, like a hardcore workout, weights, kettlebells, you name it, ropes, whatever. It could be raking your lawn. I mean, whatever is strenuous, whatever strains your body, your muscles have been worked. Okay, so you don't have to be like don't analyze this. All I'm saying is you want to make sure that you get a combination of some carbohydrates and protein to start that muscle recovery and repair. Along with the zucchini, we got some black beans here. Now, what I want you to notice, what I want to point out with the black beans, this is the cue to do the second. Sorry, my apprentice over here I don't know what's going on. We have 2 kids at home. Yeah, we have 2 kids at home, 2 daughters, 9 and 6, a little mischievous, so she's probably going, have they... No, anyways, moving forward. I'm pointing out the beans just because, canned beans are great. Black beans, garbanzo beans, kidney beans, any kind of beans you want. I always rinse the sodium. I rinse them thoroughly because I can get up to 40% of the sodium out of them. If you have any hypertension issues like high blood pressure and stuff, you might want, you're going to want to watch your sodium intake. But if you're cooking from scratch at home, if you guys do, if any of you are career firefighters and you do clutch for meals and you're cooking there, you have a lot of control on how you can have those foods work for you that you're preparing. Whereas if you're hitting the convenience store, the gas station, if you're doing the drive-thrus, you're at the mercy of the food companies. And I just, given your line of work, the stress that's on your body, whenever you can get sleep, it's so essential. But if you're not eating the right foods, those foods can affect your sleep and just create a whole host of problems. So you want to make sure you're getting really good quality, nourishing foods that taste good and work for you, okay? So anyways, that's the bean bit. So we're going to add that in there. And then we're going to add some cherry tomatoes. If you want grape tomatoes, cherry tomatoes. These are actually grape tomatoes. We can cut them up. You can leave them whole. In the recipe, I just say leave whole. But again, I want to show you the knife skill stuff because that just, again, it's having the knife work for you. When you are on a big event and you know all of the gear on your rig, and if you've got gear on your rig that isn't operating correctly or doesn't, you don't feel comfortable with it, well, now you're putting yourself in danger. And I know I'm making a significant leap from a knife to the jaws of life or operating a rig. But the point is, you got to feel comfortable and feel confident and know what you're doing. And I want you to feel comfortable and confident and know what you're doing when you're doing the knife skill. So again, it's always just let the knife do the work. Use that and use those knuckles to guide your, to guide the knife like that, and you're going to be well on your way.
Right?
Yeah, a sharp knife is a safe knife, and a dull knife is a dangerous knife. So you've got to put that, really got to put that in, in perspective. Okay, now these things are going everywhere. But all right, we're going to put those on the pan. Then we're going to take a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to put that in there. And I mentioned spices. This recipe, I actually wanted to go heavy on the spices because I wanted you to, I want it to taste good, I want it to smell good, I want it to look good. But spices, herbs and spices have medicinal benefits. They have anti-inflammatory properties. That means after you just worked your tail off in a workout, or you do a bike ride, or let's just say you get a call and there is a fire and you're schlepping your gear and you're doing the whole bit and it's exhausting, your muscles are going to be incredibly fatigued, your body's going to be incredibly fatigued, sore and stiff the next day. Herbs and spices have anti-inflammatory properties. They can help expand the blood vessels to get more blood flow to help ease the swelling. So basil, oregano, thyme, parsley, marjoram, those are the herb sides. I mean, there's other herbs as well. But then on the spice side, we've got, cumin, cinnamon, coriander, ginger. There's all sorts of curry powder, turmeric. There's all sorts of herbs and spices. I really want you to use those. Again, have food work for you, not against you, okay? All right, so we got, again, I'm doing a half batch here, but we're going to mix it up. I like to keep it simple. I mean, you can use a spoon, use your fingers, use your hands, or you can You notice that I used foil and I used some parchment paper just for extra cleanup here. But if you want, you can just kind of wrap it like this and have it, just have it mix well. Because we want to get all the herbs and spices. It looks good. I love that. That's exactly what we want. Questions, comments, thoughts. Who's got a cooking question, a nutrition question, any kind of question? For those of you that have young kids, what kind of picky eating situations are you dealing with? Tell us in the comments. We're here for you. We want to know what you think. All right, I'm going to get my oven back on because it was on and I just realized I turned it off. We're going to put that back on. All right, moving forward. All right, this is good. We're going to pop this in the oven. And we're going to let it cook for 10 to 12 minutes until the zucchini and the tomatoes are tender and the beans are heated through and those spices are going to be nice and happy. We're going to pop these in. If you would like to use a herb and spice blend, this recipe is very, very flexible. And I did that. Again, I try to get all the barriers out of the way to make food appealing, not just tasting great, but visually looking great, and just make it simple. So hence the whole one pan dish type bit. That's what we wanted to do. We got a question by Terry. Go ahead, yeah.
You have used the line before. Do you eat to survive or fuel to thrive? Is that the correct saying?
Very close, Terry. A for effort. I actually have a handful of quotes. So one of them on our website that we do say, and I verbalize it too, is you can, eat to thrive, or I already messed it up. Eat to survive or nourish to thrive. I actually, what I normally say is nourishing is different than eating, and you can eat to live or you can nourish to thrive. And when you nourish your body, you will perform, feel, and look your best. My own experience with it, other friends of mine that are conscious about the role food plays in their body and how it helps them perform, absolutely. So, yeah, that's exactly, that's close. You can eat to survive or you can nourish to thrive, and I think you should nourish to thrive. Having said that, let's move forward. I want to get back onto the PowerPoint real quick because I got a couple, you may want to take some snapshots of these, but I'm just going to give you some more specifics on the activity side while we are cooking our vegetables here. Okay. You want to move every 60 minutes for about a minute. So think of it like this. If you're at the station and obviously, like I know you have certain routines, you might be cleaning gear and stuff, you're being active, that's fine. But it doesn't mean you have to be out there doing sprints all the time and doing push-ups all the time. Just figure out how to get some common sense movement into your life. So moving every 60 minutes for about a minute is really manageable. That's a really manageable thing to do. As it says, strive for aerobic activity, at least 30 minutes a day, and fast walking counts. Maybe you're doing push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, some just basic body movements, natural weight, your natural body weight movements, and you're doing fast walking, whatever it is. Obviously, you can do much more higher intensity things, which I'll share that resource here with you just a second. You got to have muscle mass because muscles will burn calories almost 6 times more efficiently than fat can. And again, as a human being, we need to be fit, but for your line of work, it's absolutely critical because you can put yourself at risk of being, having a serious life-altering thing happen, or a partner if you're not able to get them out and they go down. So this is real stuff. Keeping your metabolism up you need to have is significant because metabolism helps your vital organ systems operate, and there's a whole host of things your metabolism does besides help you maintain, gain, and lose weight. A couple more things about this, more benefits on the physical activity side, as you can read here. It helps your brain develop, specifically mental clarity and reducing cognitive decline. What you need to understand, folks, is if you sit for long periods of time, like 60 minutes or longer, you actually lose blood flow to your brain. And your brain cannot store energy. So you've got to, just by moving, help push blood to your brain, which helps keep you moving, keeps you awake, keeps you sharp and alert, and that's really important. The physical activity helps carry oxygen to your working muscles, which is really important, obviously. Reduces chronic inflammation, reduces cortisol, which is your stress hormone, reduces insulin resistance, which leads to type 2 diabetes, moves glucose into the muscle glycogen rather than fat, which I talked from setting that up from a food standpoint. A great resource that I was thrilled to be able to share, and I mentioned this in the beginning, one of your fellow Metro firefighters, Gino Danielson, is putting on, and he's with Minneapolis, but he's doing this through that. Again, this is a reimbursable program, but this is all, as you can read up here. And I apologize, I don't have this memorized, but it's all about bringing this FIT program to your stations, and they personalize it based on your physical activity level. And there's different modules you can do, as you can read up here. And that's just something that, take a screenshot of that and pass it on to your departments, because he's got a really cool program that he's doing, and he's just trying to help firefighters be safer and obviously be healthier as a result. So, okay, I'd like to get out of this space. Questions, comments, thoughts? Questions, comments, thoughts? Let's get back into the dish. All right. We're going to get back into the dish. All right. Are we back on, what's that?
Yeah.
Okay. So we cooked, thanks to TV Magic, folks. Thanks to TV Magic, again, doing a half portion. What we're going to do is we're going to make a well here, and you can see here, we're going to take our food, and obviously it roasted.
Yeah.
What's that?
So
okay,
look at that.
disregard. It looks like it's burned. It's actually not burned, okay? Just the paper's a little burned because I had a high temp. But you can see here, I'll put it in the, I have my kitchen police over here monitoring my cooking ability. Thank you. What we're gonna do.
Well, in our first date, you burned.
Yes, that's true. That's true. I remember that. Thanks. But you can see I made these wells. Can you see that? Okay. And we're gonna I'm gonna crack 2 eggs and put them right in here. Obviously, my tomatoes are tender, my zucchini's tender. We're gonna take 2 eggs. I'm gonna grab a napkin here. All right. I'm gonna crack these 2 eggs and pop them right in the middle. And then keep doing that. You could have one thing, ladies and gentlemen. You could have the vegetables. You could have those cooked in advance. So maybe you don't want to, take the extra time and do it right here. You could just have those done and then set up your sheet pan and put them, put the eggs in there, and just as we did, and it'd be all done. That would be pretty cool and slick. But now we're going to pop that into the oven. Again, I'm going to show you that, just like that. Okay, pretty awesome, huh? I'm going to pop this in the oven. And I've got the other one going, but I'm going to take that one out. You want to pay attention when you're baking in the oven, especially if you're multitasking. This stuff will cook pretty fast. So just be aware of, in the higher level, heat. Of all, I don't need to explain how heat operates to all of you, but it's higher, it's more hot at the top rack versus the bottom rack. So we got those eggs. It's going to take anywhere between 7 and 10 minutes, depending on how your oven's calibrated and all that kind of stuff. So we're going to let that continue to cook. Questions, comments, thoughts? Questions, comments, thoughts. What else do you want to know? Okay, why don't we pop up? Go back to the PowerPoint real quick. Okay, folks, so I've just given you kind of an overview on the whole physical activity piece and why it's essential. Here's the, again, going back to our four components, putting all of this together. If you want to be safer on the job, you want to be able to perform better, not be a liability to you, to your family, to your partner, your buddy, whenever you go on a call, you've got to figure out how to get these 4 things happening if you're not. And again, I'm not your mother. I'm not here to tell you how to do it, but hopefully you've got nourishing foods either at the station, if you're bringing snacks with you or you're bringing your own pack with you. I'm curious, how many of you are paid on call? Put that in the chat. Or if you're a career, be curious, anybody full-time, let us know in the chat box. Let us know in the chat box. So you're going to have different strategy depending on, your situation. But having said that, figure out how to figure out how to do this. The sleep piece is absolutely critical. If you don't know, so as you go about your day, your blood sugar can peak and spike and drop. If that's happening on a regular basis, so you're having blood sugar swings and you find yourself kind of like you're alert, then you're tired, you're alert, then you're tired. If that's happening to you on a regular basis, that physiological action will affect the hormones that regulate your sleep. And if the hormones that regulate your sleep, you can bounce back out. If the hormones that regulate your sleep are getting altered and affected, but then you're not going to be able to get good restful sleep. And obviously, given your work, that's so important. So you got to figure out how can you maximize that sleep. And one way is by keeping your blood sugar stable and eating the right foods. So when we talk the right foods, good protein, slow carbohydrates, healthy fats. This recipe that I gave you and all the recipes that we gave you throughout this series, we focus on having those examples in there to help keep your blood sugar stable, thus helping support the hormones that regulate your sleep. The physical activity thing is super important because the more active you are, the more blood circulates to your muscles, the more it helps relax your body, helping you sleep. Anyways, but you got to pay attention. I'm focusing on this sleep stuff, and I know that I had a previous class, but I just, it's so important to have that quality sleep. If you happen to work out late at night, your body core temperature can stay elevated for hours. So if there's any way for you, and if you find yourself having a hard time, getting restful sleep, that is, if you can work out earlier in the day or keep your activity earlier in the day so that you don't have that elevated body core temp, because that can affect your sleep, that elevated body core temp. I didn't know that. And I think about it, like I'm 44 now, but when I was in my 20s, my workout schedule was very different. My activities, the way I was active was very different, and so now I'm doing it in a way where it's not going to affect my sleep. So I want you to pay attention to that. So we talk nutrition, we talk sleep. The hydration piece, the more hydrated you are, the better your lungs can withstand dust, smoke, and fumes, and keeping your body core temperature more stable. I mean, you know that as a firefighter, but it's absolutely critical. I remember when we did our big program with City Minneapolis, I met a firefighter who he was sharing how he wasn't adequately hydrated one time. There happened to be a big event. He went on there. It was a house fire. He went in. He ended up. His body core temperature changed just a little bit, and it forever changed him. So that hydration thing as a firefighter is so important. And hopefully anybody have a water bottle that you have on you so you can monitor how much of water you're drinking? Anybody do that? I have one right back here. So truth be told, I've been just drinking out of glasses lately because I'm doing a lot of content creation in the kitchen, but otherwise, I have a bottle, and I do it all the time, I used to do it all the time. So I knew I need 5 of these bottles, and I'd be all set. So I just figure that out. Make sure you can do that. I'm gonna check my eggs. Oh, they're looking good. I think we're gonna pull our eggs out, ladies and gentlemen. I want to show you. I'm actually gonna put them back in the oven, but I just want to show you. Let's get a shot of this. So you can kind of see how they're jiggling. Depending on how you like your eggs, if you like them more firm, more soft, like this guy, and this guy is getting a little more firm, whereas these ones are a little softer. So I'm just going to rotate my pan and put that back in the oven. And a beautiful thing, see, here's what it like. Here's without the burnt paper. Again, totally edible and fine. But what I love about this is the one I just did with you guys. I can now take this and I can chill it, and then I can have it I can have it for a quick reheat to make with this egg dish at a later time. So that's kind of a slick thing to keep in mind. Water bottle, yes, appreciate it, Eric. All right, questions, comments, thoughts, folks. Anybody got a cooking question? Herbs and spice, somebody just flushed the toilet, I think. You want to turn that,
I can't.
you can't mute them? All right, one time I was in a presentation and somebody need to talk. Don't, yeah, thank you. Okay. All right, let's keep moving. You know, folks, you got me till 7:30, but if you don't want to, if we don't have questions and stuff, I will probably be done sooner than 7:30, and that's okay. Okay, but I just want to be available to you. So we're gonna check the eggs again here now. This can turn pretty quick. There we go. They can turn pretty quick, so I want to make sure that I personally like to have my eggs a little runny. So it all kind of depends on what you like. But look at that. That looks great. And we're going to take out a little bit here.
Do you want me to show the?
Yeah, why don't you show that? And we're going to now take our finished product. John is going to show you what that looks like. And I'm going to do that myself. Oh, I'll even grab a square plate so it'll look even more.
Oh, we have a question.
Yes.
Favorite cooking oil?
Well, it depends on what I'm doing. Appreciate the question, David. If I'm doing, if I'm cooking like higher heat, avocado oil, coconut oil, sesame oil, those are great higher temp oils to cook with. If you're doing medium, medium cooking, a lot of people use olive oil, and I use olive oil all the time. In an ideal world, I'm not gonna use the olive oil in higher temps just because you're gonna burn it up and you burn up all the nutritional value. When it comes to olive oil, you can like regular olive oil. I'm not speaking of extra virgin or cold press olive oil, but like a regular refined olive oil. It'll just say olive oil on it. And it might even say mixed blend. But that can have a medium-high, max medium-high cooking temp. So I will cook a lot with that. But I love using olive oil, like extra virgin, cold press, first press olive oil with salads. I'll drizzle some on top of roasted vegetables. I'll use that with when I make dips and things like that. So different cooking oils are going to have obviously different smoke points and properties. I actually have a write-up. So we have a blog post on different cooking oils on our website. And if you, David, DM us right now, I'll email you that link so you can have that information, and I might have some additional info. I'd be happy to share that with you. Please give me. Yes. All right, we're going to, I hope I answered your question there. Give me your email address and I will be happy to give you that. I'm going to take my egg dish.
I did, I just walked out there.
So whoever is unmuted, can you please mute yourself just so.
Carol, can you please mute yourself? Thank you.
Thanks, Carol, appreciate it. We're going to take this off my.
Okay, question.
Yes.
Eric wants to know thoughts on doing this meal on wood pellet grill.
I think that'd be awesome. I have not used a wood pellet. You said a wood pellet grill?
Yeah.
I haven't done that. Tell us, I want to know a little bit more about that because that, this is I presume that you're going to be incorrect. Tell me, Eric, are you going to be putting it on foil on a sheet pan on that grill, or how are you going to be doing it? Because that would definitely make sense to me. Any heating modality would work great. I love that idea, but I don't have experience with that. So fill me in on that. Here's the dish in real time.
Okay.
There's questions.
Yeah, get the questions going, folks. Love it.
Clint wants to know clarified or regular butter or not.
I love that you asked that, Clint. I actually, look what I got here, my friend. Do a little zoom on this because this is, Clint will know this, and if other people know, but this right here, this is liquid gold. Okay, This is actually ghee. Ghee is basically clarified butter, but you cook it a little bit longer, and it creates a nice caramelized flavor to it. What I like clarified butter, and I like ghee. What I like about it, higher smoke point, richer flavor. For those of you that are not sure what I'm talking about, when you melt butter, you have butter fat and you have butter solids. They separate. If you continue to cook it, you can cook out the butter, the milk solids, and just ultimately have butter fat. And that butter fat, I love it. This one actually is more of a clarified. It's not really ghee. Ghee is going to have it could have a darker color, and it could have a more caramelized flavor. But you can see that in there. The ghee or the clarified butter, as Clint was saying, because you remove the milk solids. For those of you that have dairy sensitivities, if you have a mild sensitivity, a lot of folks can actually handle clarified butter or ghee because those milk solids have been removed. Now, I can't say that it's works for everybody, but just something to be to be mindful or be aware of. But I love cooking with it. Higher smoke point, it's dynamite. Now you can buy it and it's a rip-off, or take sticks of butter. You know, I've got butter. I'll be making it tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact. And okay, well, I was going to just show you real quick. Put it in a small pan and just simmer it, and then you skim off the foamy stuff, and eventually you'll cook out the milk solids, and awesome stuff. Love that you asked that. Way to go.
So Lisa says yes, please. Are you gonna?
Yes, please.
Are you gonna do something when you were?
Yes to
Yes,
anything that you want. Lisa, what am I saying yes to?
No, she's saying yes. to
Okay.
something that you said.
I don't remember what that is.
Did you
Come
say
on,
you were
quick.
sending something? I don't remember.
Oh, Lisa, were you asking for the write-up on healthy oils? If you would like that, Lisa, send us in the DM. Okay.
And
Send us your email address.
Yes.
And then
Anyone
John
who wants that, please
yeah,
send
anyone that
us
wants it.
email.
I love helping. Anything I can do to make, to help you improve your skills, confidence in the kitchen, anything that just can make life a little bit easier, I absolutely want to do that for you. Go ahead.
Question.
Yeah, make sure you get Lisa's
Yes,
email there.
Favorite grain.
Favorite grain? Well, it depends. So I have had thank you for asking it. I've had a gluten sensitivity, which I thought I had a gluten sensitivity that I discovered about close to 9 years ago now. Was that when we were in Costa Rica 9 years ago? Holy macaroni. 7 years ago. I've had digestive issues my whole life, and I didn't really get aware of them until 7 years ago. And then I was convinced it was a gluten sensitivity. So I'm going to get to David your question on favorite grains. I got like processed wheat. When I say processed wheat, like conventional white flour, I got that out of my system, and that helped. But I have found that if I have there's like kamut, freekeh, there's barley, which everybody's heard of. There's different types of grains, and if they are hybridized, or if they're not hybridized, or they're considered an ancient grain, my body actually does pretty well with them. And I'm pretty certain at this point now, and I'm on my journey, that it's not psychosomatic. Quinoa does fine for me. Brown rice does fine for me. Oats are fine for me. As far as my favorite grain, I like wheat berries. Now, wheat berries are basically whole. I mean, they're uncrushed wheat. Wheat flour comes from wheat berries. You take the berries, you grind them up. If it's an ancient grain, an unhybridized grain, my body seems to do a little bit better with it. So I like kamut, I like freekeh, I like wheat berries, I like quinoa. I guess my body does better with carbohydrates. Some people can't do carbohydrates, but I can do carbohydrates, and I do like grains, and I have quinoa, red and white. That's a hard question for me. I didn't think it'd be such a hard question to answer. Well, I appreciate you asking that. Lisa, you have to eat gluten-free. Okay, so if you have to eat gluten-free, I'm glad you recognize that, because you're going to make life, if you eat something that creates a digestive issue, if it creates discomfort, that's an inflammatory response. And chronic inflammation, if you're constantly having issues in your gut, chronic inflammation is the root cause of most chronic diseases. So kudos to you for recognizing what foods work for you and what foods work against you. Now, having said that, specifically on the gluten side, you want to make sure that you can have like quinoa is gluten-free. Oats can be gluten-free if they're processed in a gluten-free facility, which really any gluten-free grain that's going to stay gluten-free has to be processed in a gluten-free facility. But I always say that. Brown rice, millet, amaranth, those are all gluten-free grains. Non-gluten, like grains that have gluten, wheat, barley, rye, kamut, freekeh, those are derivatives of wheat, so pay attention to those. And if you have celiac disease, which a single percentage of Americans do, but if you have that, that's like serious, severe, can really mess you up and it can kill you. So you got to pay attention and listen to your body. That's ultimately what you need to do is, just figuring out how you can get any kind of natural movement. My guess is, you're on this call tonight, you're curious, you want to make sure that, you're safe on the job, that, you're not a liability on the job for you or your partners or the folks that are, in your station with you. That's good. I commend you on that, for your can help your community better. But there's always little things that we can improve. And, I always say that awareness precedes choice, choice precedes change. So anytime that you can add these nuggets of wisdom are really positive. When we got into our expertise is in the nutrition, but we obviously have the 4 pieces, including nutrition. And when we started diving into physical activity, and I realized the significance of how our muscles and our body helps us, minimize chronic disease and help us sleeping better and help us dealing better with stress. And with the whole evolution thing, I was blown away, and just by taking walks can make such a difference. And so, anyways, I'll get off my high horse on that. Jonna is popping in the chat box for you folks. We got 5 minutes, plenty of time. She just put in there, folks, a newsletter sign up. She also put in our cooking show. Do you want to flip our? Do you want to put the picture up, the PowerPoint real fast? We've got every Thursday night, although the next 3 weeks we're taking off because we're going to be out of town. I'll be studying some culinary cuisine in Costa Rica. And when we come back for the April 15th show, we're going to do a Costa Rican, Central American inspired dish. But we have a cooking show, and you can cook with us in real time. I don't know, anyone do the show with us? It's a lot of fun. It's got some fancy production. It's a good time. People can date night, family night, all that kind of stuff. Yes.
You're on the...
Thank you. All right, moving forward. We're gonna.
No, you're on. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to be a part of this, folks, go to chefmarshallobrien.com/show. Sign up. Check it out. Our YouTube. We stream live Thursdays, YouTube and Facebook. If you would, do be so kind as to go to our YouTube channel, Chef Marshall's Cooking with Confidence. Do it right now. Multitask, do it right now, and subscribe just to help us get more audience. That'd be super helpful. We also have a weekly newsletter not a weekly, it's a monthly newsletter. So once a month we send out this newsletter. It's just all about like tips and tricks and recipes that make life easier. And it's a great way to just stay fresh in your mind. So if we can ever be a resource for you personally, or if you're looking for resources for your department, you'll get pinged once a month by us for the newsletter. Yeah. Oh, that is awesome. I would love that. David, that's freaking awesome. We're actually going to Costa Rica. Yeah, we leave on Sunday. Love it. Yeah, please do. That would be really cool. You can email me at chefmarshall@chefmarshallobrien.com. Our email address has been, you should have it. You got access because of the PowerPoint. Go ahead and flip out. Thank you. Okay, folks. Well, we're coming up to the end of the hour. We've got 2 minutes here. If anybody has any other questions, comments, thoughts, please give your feedback. I believe that there's a survey that goes out. Dee Dee, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I know that Minfire, is really committed to supporting you all, and Minfire we're the nutrition partner for Minfire. If you didn't know that, and I just, to be able to be another resource and support what you guys are doing with when it comes to preventing, cardiac cancer and emotional health, depression. We actually have depression in our family on my mom's side, and seasonal affective disorder is real. All that stuff, I get it, and I just, being able to do this for you guys and gals is super cool. Okay. Oh, now we got questions again. Any concerns cooking wild game and the disease? No, I have no concerns. I'm not a hunter. I have friends that hunt. I think wild game is awesome. I love it from I like the cycle of life aspect. I like the adventure of it. I like the sustainability aspect of it, and I think the flavor is great, and it's a cool experience to have. So, no concerns. Yeah, I made one of my best pheasant dishes for one of my dear best friends who actually lives in Duluth many years ago, and he still wants the darn recipe. Okay, folks. Well, please, everybody, be safe. If we can be a resource in any way, help you out in any way personally, for you, go to chefmarshallobrien.com. If you're looking for resources for your fire department, go to chefmarshallobrien.com. Go to MinFire. Go to their website, and also, I mentioned FireFit with Gino Danielson. He's doing an awesome program where they go to the stations and stuff to help the departments with the fitness stuff. Really appreciate your compliments. I'm getting all emotional, but I'm so glad that you took the time tonight, and thank you for letting me be a resource for you. All right, it's 7:30, folks. You've been sitting for an hour. Yeah, time to get up and move your butt. All right, guys, it was a real pleasure. Dee Dee, if you want to say any parting comments.
Thanks everybody for joining. The ones that have been on all 5, thank you very much for taking your time and spending your evenings with us. I know that my family has sat around this computer and we've all really enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys all got something out of it too. I will be sending out an email to all the participants tonight with the recipe tomorrow morning.
All right. Cheers to you all. Please reach out anytime. Don't be shy. Love to help you.
Bye, everybody.
Take care.